Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's Late Night with the Gringo again. This is episode 40, 48, 49, 48.
49, I think.
48, 49, something like that. I put it down. I can't remember. I thought it was 48. 48. So welcome, everybody.
48, you're right. It's
We
48.
are back. And, it's actually later than I think because, in Mexico, we don't do daylight savings.
Is there 11 there?
Yeah.
On the East Coast?
Yes. Lots of politics to go on. And we got one thing of pop culture, but it's really about politics. And we're going to start off with that one. First, how you doing? It's a good Sunday?
Busy Sunday. Busy Sunday.
Busy
I just got home, about 20, 30 minutes ago?
Yeah, about that.
About that, more or
Yeah,
less.
you're a busy guy.
Been busy.
Very social. Very social.
Very social, yeah.
Oh,
Marvelously social.
Marvelously social. We got lots of Trump news
Itty
today.
bitty.
Lots of Trump news. I mean, who else are we going to talk about? We got some news coming out of the Middle East, which is actually kind of concerning. We're going to talk, as I said, about tariffs. But first, we're going to talk about, look, we talked about the movie yesterday, Mickey 17. And I posted a review, or not yesterday, a couple days ago, we talked about Mickey 17. We saw it live, and we talked about it live. And look, a lot of crap has come out. I posted my review, and some people didn't like it. Why? Because I call it out for what it is. It is the anti-Trump film of the year. It was made to be released during the election, and it didn't make it. It had all sorts of problems. Warner Brothers didn't want to release it because the CEO, David Zaslav, absolutely hated the thing. Well, what's he going to do now? He's got $120 million sunk into the thing, so he's got to release it. So they cut the hell out of it, released it, but it is the absolute most anti-Trump film you're going to see this year, at least I think. I don't think it can get any worse. And they decided to ask a bunch of questions of the director, who's an Oscar-winning director. You told me, what, 4 Oscars?
He's got a credit. If you look him up on Google, he's got 4 credited Academy Awards.
Well, I know 3 are from Parasite, right? Parasite.
No, I don't know. I think it's like
3 I know are from Parasite. He
All
won Best Director, Best Picture because he was the producer, and Best Screenplay. I want to say. And the only reason I know that film is the first foreign language film ever to win Best Picture at the Oscars. So, anyways, so he's a big
Best Picture, Best Director, Best International Feature Film, and he also won Best Original Screenplay all in the same year.
All in the same year.
I think
So
it was all for Parasite. Wow.
he's known for being this anti-capitalist, social messaging kind of guy, even though he works in the industry of Hollywood and making movies. So I don't know how anti-capitalist you could be when you make millions of dollars, making movies. Oh, well, right? But so they asked him, they said, hey, so, all this stuff is coming out and people like me.
I mean, he's worth $30 million.
He's worth
according to
capitalism bad, but he's worth $30 million.
Yeah.
Sorry. So you know what kind of guy we're dealing with. So he's from South Korea, and which is the only place where the movie's actually doing well because South Korea is going to support their own. So they ask him, because a bunch of reviews come out like mine, and they call it out for what it is. It's absolutely anti-Trump. You cannot miss it. It's up in your face. It's absolutely there. Unless the only thing they could do more was just put up a sign for the whole 2 hours of the movie saying Trump is awful.
Or MAGA bad.
Or MAGA bad, right? Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah,
MAGA
honestly.
bad, right? And so they ask him a bunch of questions, and he's like, no, not at all. No.
I mean, I know it's supposed to come out during the election year, and I have a lot of red hats and red shirts.
Well,
and
we're gonna read.
slogans.
We're gonna read what he had to say. Let's just share this. Here we go. There he is. There's our smiling anti-capitalist $30 million director from South Korea.
I'm sure he's a nice guy. Most of these people are nice people for the most part, I like to assume.
Nice guys, nice people doesn't exactly mean that they're smart or authentic either.
No. Sure. But
Boong Joon-ho responds to Donald Trump comparison to Mickey 17 villain. All right. So let's just get to the nitty-gritty of it. Mark Ruffalo plays Kenneth Marshall, a character described as an egomaniacal politician. As audiences see the film, they seem to see elements of Donald Trump in this character. Let me tell you, it's not elements, it is Donald Trump.
it's a copy and paste, but they just made Mark Ruffalo the face.
Now, but the director has now confirmed there was no one singular inspiration for Ruffalo's character. He told Entertainment Weekly that the inspiration comes from a mix of many different politicians and, quote, dictators that we've seen throughout history. So, in a veiled way, he's calling Trump a dictator. But listen, that's all bullshit. What he just said, a mix of different politicians, is absolute bullshit. It is Donald Trump. And how do I know so? Because, we go down here at the end here. Ruffalo, who's on the Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, says, I play a petty dictator, he says. He notices the connection. Ruffalo had it at the time. We shot it 3 years ago because, again, they thought Kamala was going to win, and this is going to come out and make fun of Trump and just kind of put her
by
over
then
the line.
they had Biden.
Well, yeah,
but then they had what, reshoots?
They had tons of reshoots. They had to re-edit and re-edit.
Did they reshoot last year?
They reshot up until like almost a year and a half ago. So,
well, the reason I ask is because she only got into the race August.
I think we all knew it was going to happen.
I think by then, I think by then people had suspicions.
So he goes, at the time we shot it 3 years ago, and I thought this is over the top. He thought his own performance is over the top, and now he says, I realize it's totally underplayed. I mean, I made a documentary. Like, so a guy who's got, again, I got nothing against Mark Ruffalo as an actor. Seeing him in Spotlight and other things, he's an Incredible Hulk. I think he does a fine job, right? Nothing against him as an actor, but he's got Trump derangement syndrome. So he absolutely put.
I mean, it's
the
obviously
whole thing
there.
It's obviously there. So now you pointed out something very interesting. Okay, you said if they didn't mean for it to mock Trump or be all about Trump, right?
Right.
Why did they have the red hats?
The red hats, the red shirts. What were the slogan on the shirts?
Oh, I don't even remember. It was I couldn't even remember the slogan. Why did he come out and do the Trump dance? I mean, you're making all these conscious decisions for this character. The way he talked, the way he enunciated certain words were exactly a parody of Donald Trump. So if you're going to be that way, just own it, Just own it. Be brave and own it, I don't care. You don't want to...
Yeah, at least be genuine with us. I
mean... The problem is Warner Brothers hated this movie. They didn't want to release it, and they knew right now that this movie's not going to make any money because guess what? The whole idea of the culture war has shifted to the right, and they put out this movie. It's $120 million. It's already flopped. It came out yesterday, or came out Friday in the United States, Thursday here in Mexico, and it is already flopped. And we'll get to the box office in a second to show you that. But it's a $120 million budget, but you got to double that to 240, right? Yeah. Let's just say let's just be generous, 200. $200 million.
We'll say they were really savvy with their money, and they did not overspend on things.
Yep.
Because they were, when you're given such a big budget, you don't think about overpaying for anything.
Yep. So so $200 million. Well, you know what? Let's even be more generous. Let's say it's a $120 million budget, and they only spent $30 million on marketing, which is impossible. They probably spent about $100 million or $80 million. But let's say top notch. With marketing, it's $150 million, which means they got to double that to just break even.
So 300
million, right?
What are they sitting at now?
Oh, okay. So
I don't know if you have that pulled up.
Yeah, I do.
Perfect.
You're prepared. Worldwide,
Ringo's prepared.
Mickey 17 is now the number 5 movie at the box office this year, only at $53 million. That's not good because if we look at the domestic, its opening day Friday was only $7 million, $6 million Saturday, $4 million on Sunday. Word of mouth is not good. This thing's going to drop. It had a 32% drop day over day from Saturday to Sunday.
You have to remember that the first weekend is the most crucial weekend for most of these movies.
Yes, it is.
Essentially. It's the first weekend, and if you make it to the second weekend, it's because either you're a generational movie or you're really like one of the hits of the year. Then you kind of maintain that momentum. Or that or you have a ridiculous cult following, which is rare.
Well, 9 million of that came from South Korea. Okay. As far as domestic, only about 20 million has come from, maybe a little over 20 million has come from the United States. So not good. Not good because it's going to do that now 5 more times to just break even. So Warner Brothers is going to flop on its hand, and it's because word of mouth.
And we're undercutting the budget here. We're
really undercutting the budget.
Which is, so reality, they got to make probably what, 600?
No, I'm going to say 400. 400 to break even, right?
I say closer to 5, but okay.
Either way, they're not
4
making
or 5. They're not making it. The reality is they're not making it, and that's the tough business with movies. Is if you don't make a good product, and especially if you choose to go down this route, you're just throwing money away.
Yeah,
you really are. Like, you're better off just donating it to charity, in my opinion, and using that as a tax write-off.
Yeah,
at least you can make some good publicity.
Yeah, I mean, you just basically Warner Brothers just threw away all that money. They could have done something really good with it. And again, the reason why they're on this apology tour, no, it's not Trump tour, is because the word is out. It's Donald Trump. I wouldn't say it if I didn't think it.
I mean, I know they said this part was filmed before, but as I mentioned before, there's the cut on the kind of the bullet grazing his cheek.
Bullet grazing the side of the face.
Now, whether you did that prior to Butler, you still left it in.
You still left it in. You had plenty of time to cut that out, cut around it, do something different, but you didn't because.
Unless you really couldn't reshoot it again. I mean, you were like budget these so much.
They could have cut out all the scenes, it would have been 5 seconds worth of the shots where
or CGI
or CGI. Say it just completely missed him, right, or something like that, right? Anyways, so there you go. I even got a comment. I got this great comment on my review. This woman from the States says, "Oh my God, saw this movie yesterday with my husband and another, we sat there in 30 minutes in, which is really where it goes off the rails. At 30 minutes is where they introduced the Donald Trump character. It's a great movie for 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah, really for 30 minutes you're hooked in. You actually like it. Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
I always skip over that.
Fantastic.
Great actor.
Fantastic.
He does actually a good job with his role.
Yeah, just fantastic. Absolutely.
He gets really screwed by the direction the movie went.
Yeah, direction, narrative. They need to be political instead of entertaining.
You can do a movie with political elements in it, sure, but you don't have to make it a whole lecture to one side of the audience.
So word of mouth. Again, I got this one comment, and I got a few comments, and I've seen a few things like this, where 30 minutes in, people start walking out of the movie theater. And because they see it, and they're like, we don't want this. It's not that we like Donald Trump, don't like Donald Trump. It's just we just don't want to go to the movie theaters to be lectured to have anybody's political view, social agenda, and there's plenty more social stuff in it. If that was the only thing in it, that would be maybe tolerable, right? But it's just got everything. It throws in everything. Capitalism, colonialism, Native American rights, immigration, social justice. It throws in everything. And you're just being message after message. And it's just like, okay, this is not entertaining anymore. So that's what's going on with Mickey 17. So if you're going to go see Mickey 17, you'll see what we see. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. So
you'll like the first 30 minutes, but you'll want to leave after it literally kind of goes off the rails.
Yep. So, but that's sort of our politics, pop culture moment of the day. So
with that, we get into some heavy stuff. Huh?
We're going to get into some real heavy stuff. So
real heavy, huh?
We're going to go to Trump. Let's go back to Trump. Let's go to Mr. Trump. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. All right. So today I was watching Maria Bartiromo. She's on Fox Business Channel, and she got to interview the president. And the president was there, and they were talking about tariffs and talking about the economy. He said some interesting things, and some things I'm like, oh, listen, I'm very open on this channel. Like, yes, I support our president. Yes, I voted for our president. I don't always agree with everything he's doing or saying, especially when it comes to the tariffs. I'm actually quite critical of these things. And I know what he's saying, and I understand his thing where it wants to be reciprocal and all that, but the way in which this is going. But anyways, let's get into it. So she asked, why? Well, first of all, we had all these tariffs on Mexico and Canada for the automotive industry. And all of a sudden today, the president of Mexico called up President Trump. They had a phone call. They had a conversation. Okay. And now Trump says he's pausing the tariffs to quote, help Mexico and Canada to a certain extent, which he never really actually explains exactly how that's helping them. But okay. So after his Thursday phone phone conversation with Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, Trump announced on social media that he'd paused 25% tariffs on U.S. imports from Mexico and Canada that are covered by the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA, which is what he actually, created
which
in the first term, which is funny because now he left the thing in it where he can change it whenever he wants. But okay. The reprieve lasts until at least April 2nd, when reciprocal tariffs on goods from a wider range of countries are set to go in place. When asked Sunday why he'd roll back or put a pause on some of the tariffs until April 2nd, Trump said it was to help the automakers. Quote, because I wanted to help Mexico and Canada to a certain extent, Trump told Bartiromo, I wanted to help the American car makers until April 2nd. Okay, let's read between the lines. I think he kind of realized that most of the parts that are imported, like it's so integrated. The parts that come from Mexico and Canada, all of that, they're so integrated with what's going on. If slapping tariffs on the automotive industry
Doesn't really help them.
it's not a smart thing. It really isn't.
Yeah.
And I think he's realizing that, and he just doesn't know how to say, because he's not a kind of guy who goes, "I was wrong." I don't think I've ever heard Trump say, "I was wrong about that." So he's not going to say he's wrong.
He's the guy who's, and this is it's kind of criticism. He's the guy that says, "I'm right from a different point of view."
Yeah,
he would never say he's wrong. He's just, "I'm correct from a certain point of view."
No, you know what he say? He goes, "I'm not wrong. I'm just not 100% right." That's what he would say.
That exactly. That as well.
We got another update here. Okay. Anyways, so let's go back to this. April 2nd, all the tariffs become reciprocal. What they charge us, we charge them. Okay, we'll see how that goes. It's a big deal, but what they charge us, we charge them. But this is short term, and I felt that for the good of American car makers and the USMCA, I thought it would be a fair thing to do so. And so I gave them a little bit of a break for this short period of time. What a nice guy. All right, here we go. In a transition into April, and after that, I'm not doing this, Trump said. I told them, I said, look, I'm going to do it this one time, but after that, I'm not doing it. They called me and they wanted help during this with the transition period, and I gave it to them. Trump was then pressed on whether the business community would receive clarity from him. Here's the big thing. The stock market has been taking a dive. Why? Because business hates instability. They hate murkiness. They hate perfect word.
Uncertainty.
Perfect word. They want clarity. And with all the tariffs that are going on, coming off.
Yeah, because one day there's a tariff, the next day there's no tariffs. It's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't make a plan in this environment.
Yeah, there's a reason why you and I don't talk about tariffs a lot on this when we're talking about politics, is because every second it seems like something is changing. You just can't keep up with it. And so you're like, okay, what do we do now? What do we say now? What's going on now? And I think he's really all over the place. He's really throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks.
I think there's also a couple reasons why he says to help them. And yes, he brings in the automakers, and it's a very obvious point. I think there's a little more to it. Listen, Mexico levied 25% tariffs on China. Canada levied tariffs on China.
We're going to get to that.
And now China's placed tariffs on Canada, and I expect them to probably place some back on Mexico. So I wouldn't be surprised if he sees this as an opportunity to cause the industries within those nations to now shift towards the United States. All right,
that's
I'll
his
levy
plan.
them up. Now I'm going to get you guys to move away from China, more towards America, and then we'll work out a deal, and everything will go back to kind of normal, but with us more in control.
And I'm fine with the plan. I'm fine going, okay, let's see if it works. I'm not totally bought in, but I'm fine with the plan, except for it seems like the plan isn't set in stone concrete. It's like there's no, they're kind of like...
It's on the fly. It's improvisation.
Yeah, and I don't want to improvise the U.S. economy. So Trump was pressed on the clarity. He goes, she asked him, do you think the business community will receive clarity from him? And he goes, well, I think so. But, the tariffs could go up as time goes by, and they may go up. And, I don't know if it's predictability, Trump said, not offering insight on his rationale. He goes,
that's like the last thing the stock market wants.
I don't know.
It can go up, it can go down.
Because Sunday futures are set to go down when the stock market goes live in the morning of tomorrow. It's set to take a dive. Quote, he replied to part, we'll have a lot, but we may go up with some tariffs. It depends. We may go up. I don't think we'll go down, or we may go up. So
I don't think he fully knows where this is going to go, because as good as he is with business, I think he realizes that, like everyone knows, the stock market's impossible to not only predict, but also kind of control.
Yeah.
You can kind of push it towards a certain direction and kind of influence it as the government, but you can't ever fully control it, because there are a lot of elements that are outside your control and that play into and factor into whether certain stocks go up, certain industries boom, or whether certain industries, quite frankly, tank. Yeah. And I think he's realizing that he's playing a much more high-stake game of poker.
He is.
And he's got to be careful. Now, granted, we do have the benefit of being technically in this situation, the house. But we've got the other house coming into play, which is China. We'll talk about them later.
We're going to talk about them in a second.
This is going to get very interesting with how this works out.
Well, here's the executive order. Okay, this is the executive order he signed about reducing the imports or pausing them. All right. So today, President Donald J. Trump announced adjustments to tariffs imposed on imports from Canada and Mexico in recognition of the structure of the automotive supply chain. I'm glad he's recognizing the automotive supply chain is structured throughout the entirety of North America. Like, probably should have thought of that beforehand, but he didn't. That strives to bring production into America. Okay, he wants to bring it to America. I get that. Okay. We'll see if that happens. Duties imposed to address the flow of illicit drugs across our borders are now 25% tariffs on goods that do not satisfy the USMCA, lower 10% tariff on those. So these are the tariffs, all right? So while the situation on our northern and southern borders continue to require appropriate action from the governments of Canada and Mexico, our American automotive industry, which provides American jobs, should not suffer significant disruption just because of the structure of its supply chain. Basically, there's an admission there saying, okay, we put these tariffs in and immediately we saw a disruption. The
and
U.S. automotive...
we could even support. Never mind. Well, what's the word when they put money into a certain industry? Subsidize.
Subsidize, yeah.
That's the word, subsidize. They couldn't really subsidize as much as they could cover. No. They were losing.
No, they couldn't. And so I think as fragile as because listen, the American car industry is not as strong as it's ever been. Let's face facts, all right? It's gotten a little better, but it's not that strong. You take away Ford's pickups, and we're in real trouble, I think, at that point.
Yeah, you lose all that you lose Texas essentially in sales.
Yeah,
it's gone.
Yeah. That and Jeep. Oh my God. Woo-hoo, bye-bye. So it can't really handle significant disruption. And those unions are definitely not the people you want against you or putting political pressure on Congress when you want to pass a bill. So I think there was a lot of behind the scenes. He was definitely, he's obviously spoken to all the American car manufacturers. He's obviously spoken to the United Auto Workers, one of the largest, if not the largest or most powerful unions in the country. And they all said to him, this is going to be bad. All right. We're already starting to see, there's already talk. Now, in this interview today, she also asked him, do you think there's going to be a recession? And he literally says, I don't like to predict those things. Instead of saying, no. So he goes, I don't like to predict those things. Okay, I get it. He doesn't want to predict those things. He doesn't want to get on the record of saying yes or no. Because if he says yes, all hell's going to break loose in the economy. And if he says no, he looks like a liar, doesn't know what he's doing. So is there going to be a recession? A lot of banks are out there saying there's going to be a recession. And he even in his speech, if you remember Tuesday, his speech, he was saying there's going to be adjustment periods, there's going to be growth periods, it's going to be struggle because we're going from, and this is one of his Secretary of Commerce said in an interview I saw. What is it?
About to say.
You're going from an economy that is feeding off of the government.
Yeah, public spending.
Public spending is just propping up the U.S. economy, and we've got to move that to the private sector where it normally should be. And I agree with that. That's gonna hurt. You've already seen because of all the cuts in jobs from the government, the unemployment rate went up to 4%. That was purely Doge, and I'm fine with that because those people weren't doing anything. I'm fine with that. Okay, let them go and fight for a job. All right, in the private sector. Good. No complaints here.
Right.
Okay.
Granted, I will say private sector very hard to start off into.
Yeah, it is. It should be.
So the one concern I have for our workforce is, this is where I have a little disagreement, being a young man myself, is if you can't find work in the public sector to get the career experience you need to work in the private, how are you expected to graduate and go work in the private immediately? I'm telling you right now, very tough. Right now, very tough job economy. So I sympathize with those who lost their jobs, but at the same time, your position was harming the federal government and the federal budget, and the government did what it's supposed to do. Yeah. It cut bad spending. But, I think there's got to be a better plan in place for those who are going to be facing some hardship. So just my little piece in there.
Well, yeah, and I think the more manufacturing you bring back, and that's his thing. If you take that 10,000 foot look down on everything, Trump is hoping that all this manufacturing and things like, okay, so like Apple investing $500 billion, they're going to build over in Houston, of all places, their AI center. Okay, cool.
Very good tech and AI. I think it's just computer science. What do you call it? part of what do you call a part of university?
A department?
Department. Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very competent department there. So I'm not surprised they chose Houston. Very good computer science programs in that area. So
It'll be good.
yeah, very good. Yeah, it'll be good.
So I think he's hoping that everything is going to begin to offset. I think he understands it's going. I think Trump is looking down the barrel of the economy, and he's like, "Oh, there's some rough waves ahead," and he doesn't want to scare anybody. Number one, number two, he's actually starting to second guess himself right now, going, "Oh, if I screw this up, it could be something that really makes a damage to the economy." So again, these tariffs, and here's what happened. Okay, so you talked about China. We're going to talk about China in a second. All right, so the United States tariffed Mexico and Canada. Okay, so then Canada and Mexico tariffed the United States. All right.
But here's the problem. They're still taking a huge loss by not trading for those same goods with the U.S. So who can they tariff next? China, because China's their other big partner. So
here we go. China to impose retaliatory tariffs on some Canadian products as trade war heats up. Yes, folks, we are in a trade war. Let's don't just call it like, no if buts or maybes. We are in a trade war, and it's been a long time coming, and it's about time. Listen, we can't keep putting off the fight, so we're going to fight it. Okay. China on Saturday announced plans to impose a 100% tariff, means doubling the price, on Canadian rapeseed oil, oil cakes, and peas, because that's a lot. I guess that's one of the major imports.
The major imports so the reason why is a lot of the big industrial farming that China does have needs food for the animals. It comes from that.
Okay, cool.
The oils and stuff, that's more manufacturing, I think. I'm not 100% sure. But I know the peas and stuff like that, when you come to food and agriculture, they import a lot of that from the U.S. and a lot of that from Canada. Most of it from the U.S., but a good chunk from Canada. And so that hurts them a lot.
Well, adding that a 25% levy would be placed on aquatic products.
Seafood.
And pork originating in Canada.
Yep.
Now, let me tell you something, folks. I had some friends that had to spend a couple of years in China working for Apple because they were over there helping set up stores originally. And I asked them, how was the food? They said, we didn't eat anything but white rice. And sometimes if we found like a fast food joint that we thought we could trust, we'd eat. They lost so much weight by the time they literally, all of them lost like 50, 60, 70 pounds by the time they got home because they wouldn't eat. I asked, why not? They go, there's no such thing as refrigeration where we were. So when you think about pork products, unrefrigerated. So that's why they get their pork and their aquatic and their fish. You're thinking, why didn't, a lot of that stuff in the cities comes from being imported. Okay.
Right. A lot of the king crab, it's very historically known. Canada's aquatic marine food trade with China, very well known. It's one of the biggest trades and kind of trade deals that they have going. It subsidizes a lot of Canadian fishing. It actually allows them to kind of employ a lot more people than they probably could normally. Mm-hmm. Also, it allows them to take advantage of the natural oceans and lakes that they have all over the place, and the big Hudson Bay there. Now they lost their biggest trade partner. Where does that fish go? How are you going to pay these workers? The U.S. isn't buying because guess what? The U.S. is right next to you. Yep. We have the same access to everything. We've got Alaska up there if we really want, Alaskan crab. Yeah. Hence the name.
But here's the kicker, right? All right, they've given them to March 20th, right? They're scheduled to come into force March 20th. I think that's a period of like, hey, we're going to give you 10 or 12 days to think this over. Maybe you don't want to tariff us, Canada. Maybe you want to rethink life. All right. Again, Canada, you're screwed.
Yeah,
right?
I told you this.
I love Canada. People, if you're Canadian out there and you're
nice
listening,
people. I love
you
Montreal.
are wonderful people. I've been to Montreal. I've been to Toronto. I love it. I love your country. I love your people. I love I love hockey.
You guys, great neighbors. I mean, great neighbors. It sucks that we lost
you guys. Are absolutely screwed 6 ways to Sunday.
Yeah, you have now decided to take on the biggest economy in the world, and that's fair. We tariffed you, and you're going to tariff them back, and we're going to hopefully get to a better deal. But now in comes this, I said you're playing against the house. Well, what's a very famous casino?
Caesars.
What are we? What would it be? MGM Grand or would we be Caesars?
We're MGM Grand.
We're MGM Grand, and in comes the Bellagio.
The
Bellagio in China. Or you could call us Caesars. Yeah, you call us Caesars. Good luck. You have chosen to take on the two biggest economies, which are your number 1 and number 2 trading partner. Your number 3, I think, is Mexico. if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But in order to get to Mexico, you're going to have to now ship everything, which is going to take forever. So now the costs are crazy.
Yep.
So if you're that new PM, I don't know your name.
We're going to get to him too.
I would what are the word of advice? I would quickly settle the trade deal or settle the trade war with the U.S. because, or China, whichever one you want. I say U.S. is a little better. In my opinion, one, I'm an American, I'm a little biased, but also two, I think it's a little more beneficial since we're your number one trading partner.
They're not going to settle with us. Wait till you hear what I got to say.
Oh God, you're telling me?
There's no settling.
Am I jumping the gun here?
Yeah, they're gonna settle with China first.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm not surprised.
So, but if they don't, they're screwed 6 ways to Sunday. So Canada will soon have a new prime minister. Here's what you need to know. So here's how it works, right? There hasn't been really an election. The party members of the Liberal Party have replaced Justin Trudeau, who's stepping down voluntarily because he knows he can't win and he's dragging down his party. Now there'll be a general election in the country in a little while, hopefully, and the Conservative Party, I think, is going to win that. But for right now, this man, more than 2 months after Justin Trudeau said he intended to resign as Canada's prime minister, the country's Liberals on Sunday will announce his successor, right? And they announced him already. And Mark, I'm going to find his name here. Yeah, there he is. Mark Carney will be that man, right? That's the dude right there. He actually has won. This article's a couple hours old, so he's actually won. He's actually a banker. He oversaw, I think, Canada's all federal banking. He is a liberal, and he is absolutely a Trump hater. He does not like Donald Trump one bit. He basically calls it economic coercion to make us the 51st state. He said this is ridiculous. This is never going to happen. So he's starting off from and he gave his speech when he won. He's starting off from like a screw you, Donald Trump position. So listen, I don't know. Let me just say this. Not that the guy should be afraid of anything, but just word of advice. Our president, he likes to fight.
Yeah, he likes arguing.
He likes to argue. He likes to escalate things to the point where you just can't stand it anymore. You just said, yeah, I'm going to play Donald Trump's game.
That is not a game you really want to play. I mean, even China doesn't want to play that game.
No.
So much China is like, okay, we'll settle deals with the U.S. I mean, we were going to have tariffs based on each other. What did China do? Let's make a deal. We'll buy some stuff for you for right now. We'll get a more permanent deal a little later. But is this satisfying for you? And it's like, okay, that's good. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying there's a phone call between de Bellagio and MGM Grand.
There's a phone call.
But I have a feeling this just looks like as if they both called up each other and said, listen, I'm going to tariff the hell out of them.
Yep.
They're going to tariff me, but that's not going to be enough. So they're going to tariff you. Yep. So hear me out. You tariff them back. And we can make some really good deals for ourselves.
Yep.
And I won't be surprised if that's what he did. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I see Trump trying to work with a country that is not exactly America's ally. Russia.
Well, yeah,
China now, yeah. But it's necessary with China. They're the number 2 economy. We should have a decent relationship with them. I don't agree with the CCP on a lot of things.
On anything, really.
Really anything, especially human rights. But I respect them for being the second biggest economy and for being the country that they are. They are a world power. You have to grant them that. They are a world power. They're not a hegemon. We're still that, but give them the flowers. Give them the respect. So,
yeah. All right, here's what he said during his speech that he won. Now, he got 86% of the Liberal vote to win, defeating the Deputy Prime Minister of Justin Trudeau, who was called toxic, which, yeah, she is, because she was deputy to Justin Trudeau, who is really toxic. Okay, so Mark Carney, new Prime Minister of Canada, said, there's someone who's trying to weaken our economy, said of Trump, spurring loud boos at the party gathering. Quote, he's attacking Canadian workers, families, and businesses. We can't let him succeed. This won't be business as usual, Carney said. We will have to do things that we haven't imagined before at speeds we didn't think possible. You want to fight Donald Trump? Go ahead.
You are taking... Okay, listen.
Go ahead.
Canada... Go ahead. Canada's what in the world economy? How big is Canada's economy?
Oh, wait. Here we go. Make no mistake, this is a nation-defining moment. Democracy is not a given. Freedom is not a given. Even Canada is not a given, Trudeau said. Now, this is what he said when Mark Carney won. Trudeau has imposed this year. Retaliatory tariffs. My government will keep our tariffs on until the Americans show us respect, Carney said. Okay.
I'll give them some respect to this point. They're the 9th largest economy in the world.
Yeah.
Not surprising, actually, to me. I thought they'd be like 11th or 12th, but top 10, good for you. Problem.
He has no real political background. He's a first-time outsider. He was a central banker. He has said his experience as the first person to serve as the governor of 2 G7 central banks, Canada and England, meant he was the best candidate to deal with Trump. So we got an economist, a central banker, but a liberal. Okay, bring it on, buddy.
Listen, I think he'll be good for the most part, I hope, economically for the sake of Canadians.
Yeah.
But if he chooses to go down this path, I don't know if that's really going to work out. Granted, it's very uncertain for everybody right now. I mean, even I'm not 100% sure if the U.S. is going to walk away the same.
Oh, everybody's getting bloody in this. Everybody's getting bloody.
But the thing is, it's one of those things where it's like, the bank's too big to fail. Except for not like that the bank fails. The U.S. economy, if that tanks, there goes a good chunk of the world economy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see.
So the other 8 countries on this list are not going to allow the U.S. to falter really that much, or China even to falter in a trade war. They will spring them up a little bit with deals that will either benefit them but also benefit either or.
Okay. But you know what makes me nervous?
To maintain stability.
You know what makes me nervous when and I think you're right about a bunch of that stuff, but what makes me nervous when Trump talks about tariffs is he always invokes President McKinley. And he's like, during his time, President McKinley was the tariff king. Okay? He was president in 1897. It was in the middle of the Industrial Revolution. The economies of the world, including the United States, were extremely different than what they are right now.
They were booming and changing so much.
It was
traditional economies that had run sectors were now being pretty much toppled over.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it's I don't know if that's really sort of like
the best guy you want to.
That's the example you want to go to. Be like, we're going to do what this guy did in 1897. No. It's like saying, I'm going to broadcast my YouTube channel the way they used to broadcast TV shows in 1943. It's like, okay, it's not going to be that good. It's not going to work that way.
It just seems dodgy.
It
seems a little dodgy.
Really dodgy.
Little dodgy. Now, before we move on, good luck, China. Not China. Good luck, Canada.
Good luck,
Canada. Good luck.
I love you guys.
You guys really are nice. I'd love to get a deal soon done. Yeah. Granted, I think you guys are going to hurt a lot more.
I mean, Canadian whiskey is one of the first things I stole out of my parents' liquor cabinet. That was great. That was awesome. Canadian Miss, baby.
Well, granted, now you can't. If you're in Canada, you can't get any American stuff too.
This is true. American beer. Took it off.
They're gonna be. I feel
Canadian bacon. Tim Hortons. Yeah, love Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons is great.
I'm a huge Tim Hortons fan, baby.
Every airport I'm in Canada, I grab some Tim Hortons.
Dude, there was one in Michigan. I loved it. Great coffee, good biscuits.
No, great, but good luck. I really mean that. Everywhere.
I really, really do. Yeah. So, all right. You want to do Middle East, Colombia, or trans-vegan death cult?
I'm sorry. What the fuck?
Okay, we'll save that last one for best. Okay, the best for last. Okay. Hey, so this near and dear to my heart. Everybody knows that I'm Syrian and Lebanese on part of my family, part of my ancestry. And Syria, which just gained its independence from Assad a few months ago, has fallen into chaos. Literally, there are videos you can see, and I will not show them on my channel, but there's definitely videos going around. There's been insurgents on behalf of the now ousted Assad, insurgents, terrorists, some of them Iranian-backed. So Iran has taken a play into Syria. There are bodies piled in the streets of some cities. So
and even some churches.
Yeah, even some churches. So I mean, Syria they're fighting the people who fought for their freedom. They're fighting once again. I don't think we're going to get involved.
I actually, this time I wouldn't be, I'm not all for staying there for 20 years and trying to rebuild a nation. I wouldn't mind lending a hand and be like, listen, do you want some air support? We'll drop some bombs if you want.
Yeah, we're really good at that.
We're really good at that. We don't want to put troops there because then it becomes really messy.
No.
But I don't mind lending them, maybe providing, you know what we did with Ukraine?
Yeah.
Like, here, you want some armor? American armor,
Yeah.
American air.
Some uranium depleted
No.
shells? No, we don't want those.
No. Listen, gringos.
Why do we give those to people? Like
I-
it's like, hey, we want to help you out. Here's some depleted uranium shells.
I think it's like, hey, listen, these things really hit.
How is that helpful?
It's more like, it's like you have the guy cornered in the room
Yeah.
and he's got nothing left. Instead of pulling out like, a handgun with one bullet left, he pulls out the nuclear device. It's like everyone goes.
Well, the insurgents are now doing this. They're going into towns in Syria and they're just indiscriminately killing. They're walking in, they're grabbing families, they're going into stores, they're going into mosques, they're going into churches because there is a lot of Christians in Syria. I'm a Syrian Christian, all right? And they're just pulling up women, kids, men, just friggin' blowing them away in the street and leaving the bodies where they are. And people are so afraid to leave the buildings that they're in that they feel safe. They're not even going out into the streets to get the body. There's bodies piling up and just there in the streets for days. It is that bad. And so Rubio, Secretary of State, has made it known that we do not we condemn all these acts, but they're going after all the different sects I call them, because you got Kurds, you've got regular Syrians, you got Alawites, you got
Except for is it Alawites that they're going after?
this the regime is home to this. That's a minority group that includes the Assads, right? But they're split. Right? So the Alawites that are not with Assad that want freedom are getting killed as well.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
All right, quote, near our house there are 15 bodies and nobody has the courage to remove them since yesterday, said a resident of Al-Kabu, near Homs. Several others spoke of bodies lying in the streets and one shared photographs of the corpses. The claims and the affiliations of the attackers couldn't be confirmed, though residents blamed the government and foreign fighters who have bolstered its ranks. It is actually exactly what it is. All right. The number of residents in the area reached by the Wall Street Journal. Okay, yes.
Remember when we were talking about the Syrian civil war? What, a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, essentially. What did I say about those Assad soldiers?
They're coming back.
I said, listen,
they're leaving
now. They've got nowhere to go. They aren't going to give up the guns because they don't want to be either arrested, even though they're granted, I think, the deal of listen, drop your guns. You can kind of return back to society. We won't punish you really that harshly or at all, depending what you are. They didn't want to run the risk. They didn't trust because they've seen regime change in the Middle East before. It's never really ever clean. And so they went off to hide in Iraq and mostly Iraq because it was right there and also Iranian ties. And now they're back. Well,
the new leader of Syria, Ahmed al-Sharaa, said he was setting up an independent committee to investigate the attacks on civilians as well as those against security forces. Quote, the remnants of the former regime, the Assads, along with external forces backing them up. That's really, there's only two people, two entities. It's either Iran, which it's Iran.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry, I hate to say it.
Or it's Russia, because Assad is living in Russia. He's in exile in Russia. Russia can't back anybody up right now. They have their own problems in the Ukraine.
Right. Russia's out immediately.
So,
the only thing that Russia loses is that port, the Syrian port.
Yeah.
Which sucks for them, but they're like, listen, we got to finish the Ukraine front right now. The Ukrainian front is taking up everything. So, and the sad part is, and the reason why you hear a lot of Christian deaths and the targeting there is that coastal region is predominantly Christian, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, it's not necessarily a majority, obviously, but it's like a significant minority. We're like talking I think 40%, something like that.
So here's why I'm nervous. Okay, here's why I think this is bigger picture and why I really wanted to bring up Syria. Okay, let's go north, just a little bit north. And what do you have?
Ukraine.
You have Ukraine on fire still, right?
Good time.
Russia is kicking the crap out of them right now. And to the point where Donald Trump's like, I'm going to have to sanction the hell out of them just to get them to stop bombing them. And so we got that. Georgia, Azerbaijan, not exactly the nicest places to go right now.
No, but also you're forgetting Azerbaijan and Armenia. They always have a fight for the what is it, the oblast right there.
Yep. So then, all right, you got Iran. Here are the big a-holes. Okay, sorry.
Iranian people are nice for the most part.
But
I've met some Iranians. They're nice people. Shitty government.
They could be nice people.
Really
Sooner or later,
shitty government. Horrible government.
They're gonna, Trump already, threatened them with a nuke right now. So that's actually interesting. So Iran. So now you got Syria on fire. Lebanon, not exactly the greatest place to go, right? Then you got, here we go, Jerusalem, Israel, West Bank. You got Palestine, Gaza all that.
But Israel just shut power off in Gaza
Yep.
earlier today, I think.
All fucked up.
So,
I mean, there's no other way to say it. Wait, I'm not done yet. Whoa.
Wait, what do you
We
mean?
ain't done yet.
Oh, Yemen.
You're going to
Yeah,
go south through Saudi Arabia to
fucking
Yemen, which has been in a civil war. Of course, now, Yemen, backed by Iran.
The Houthi rebels are back.
Houthi rebels, right?
The royal
Yeah.
families in, I think, Saudi
Gaza,
Arabia.
Hamas, Iran. Beirut, and they're backed by Iran. Hezbollah, right? They're
Hezbollah,
causing problems. They're fighting with Israel, right? Syria in a civil war. The bad guys backed by Iran. All right. Sooner or later,
Listen, I'm not.
sooner or later, what's going to blow up and that we haven't heard about?
Iraq.
Right here,
Yeah,
baby.
listen.
This is where it's going to happen next, and we're going to be. Listen, this is a world war right now happening. All right, let's just look at it.
Let's be
If
honest.
this doesn't stop, and this continues, and this goes, and that spreads, and this is the powder keg. Okay, we are closer to a world war than I've ever seen in 50 years. And when I say 50 years, I mean 50 years because tomorrow I turn friggin' 50. Actually, in 2 hours and 11 minutes, I'll be 50. And this is the most war and the closest to World War III I've ever seen. And I lived through the Cold War.
Granted, U.S. is also taking a funny, early, go back 100 years position that we took before.
Yeah.
Isolating ourselves.
Yeah.
We're kind of isolating ourselves back to the hemisphere, which I don't necessarily mind. It's our hemisphere. But last I checked, if you let Europe, the Middle East, and Asia do whatever they want, those places automatically pull out the guns, the knives, the swords, the shivs, and they aim them at each other. They point them at each other, and something goes off. Maybe the gunpowder is, a little sparky today.
Yeah.
And, I mean, China, upped its military spending as well?
China, the reason why I moved the map is because you and I both know this little island here called Taiwan. That's a huge problem. Right? Sooner or later that blows up. No, but that's not my real concern. My real concern is right here, baby. India, Pakistan, Kashmir. When that blows, that brings in China. That brings in Afghanistan.
Wait, let me stop you there.
We got problems.
You know what's so fucked up about that region?
Yeah.
Is you think it's just mostly between Pakistan and India.
It's not.
It's not, though. Because guess what? China claims a part of it. They actually paved the road to the part where they claim.
Yeah. And these, look, and here's you think Iran, they're close to a nuclear weapon. These guys are nuclear. These guys are nuclear. These guys right here are nuclear.
These three are nuclear.
We have three nuclear powers just ready to, they're itching to throw down. They hate each other.
Indian and Chinese troops always have, if you look at Indian news on the Chinese and Indian border, you will find an article at least once a month of a border skirmish between the two.
Yep.
Somewhere. Surprisingly, I'm not sure about India and Pakistan. I know they don't really like each other, obviously, but I don't really hear much of border skirmishes between them because they know.
China just keeps
the reason
poking
why,
the bear.
Well, the reason why is because they know if one skirmishes with the other, it escalates no matter what.
Well, here's the problem. Did you know that a lot of the times command and control of nuclear weapons for Pakistan is put in the field commander's hands? Not the president, not the prime minister.
I'm very familiar.
Which means that, the guy out in the field, the commander, the general, doesn't need authorization half the time. He's just be like, you know what, launch it. It's like...
Have you heard French nuclear policy?
No, what's French nuclear policy?
French nuclear policy is if we think we're going to get nuked, we nuke first.
Okay.
And
how do you determine that?
That's the thing. It's very vague. So you could be like, that country's going to war with us, and they're nuclear. Why don't we nuke them first? French nuke. I know France is random and not anywhere on this map, but you're talking about nuclear policy. That's like the second worst nuclear policy I've ever heard.
Yeah, well, yeah.
One is preeminent nuke striking.
Preeminent nuke striking.
Which I don't know how you think you can.
Ours is called MAD. Did you know that? That's the acronym. Mutually Assured Destruction. Basically, you throw nukes at us, we throw everything back at you. And whether we die 100%, we're going to make sure you die 100%. Mutually assured destruction. Hey, it's worked for so far, but sooner or later, someone's going to be mad. And
listen, I think, the thing is, I believe the U.S. would be chaotic enough in that situation to just throw the nukes, not all of them at one place, but also just all over the place to be like, you know what? If we can have a nice world, no one can.
Yeah, nope. You notice how no one pays attention to what's going on? By the way, one day we're going to do a special episode on just Africa. I'm not going to even get into it.
Listen,
this place is just, it's a fucking mess. Okay?
It's always been a mess.
Here, there's like pockets of niceness and all that, and then but just a mess.
Then you get into the Amazon, it's just complete chaos.
All right, and you got Australia just hanging out down here, going, "Can someone help us with China? Because they keep coming and fucking with us." All right.
Also, then it's like, can we not die to our own wildlife?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah.
By the way, hey, Sydney, that's where your grandma is right now. All right.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. So, anyways, that's why we bring it up, because there's a lot of shit. Like, if you start really thinking about it, like all you hear about is Ukraine, Israel, Ukraine, Israel, Ukraine, Israel.
Syria.
There's about 10 other things going on just in the neighborhood.
Iraq's too quiet.
Yeah.
It's like, Iraq's that noisy kid but a bunch of chaos starts happening in the house. So the noisy kid starts to drown out. And you realize, the noisy kid's sitting still.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, at first you think, oh, that's great. Finally, he's calmed down. But then you realize, he's calmed down.
Yeah.
He's calmed down. There's a problem here.
Well, it's like rolling down a street and seeing like, hey, that house is on fire over there. Hey, that house is on fire over there. But ignoring the fact that the 10 houses behind you are also on fire. You'd be like, So it's an interesting time right now. So now we have trade wars. We have real wars.
Real wars.
Now, what's up next?
Crimes.
You know what? We just need some religious wars. So throw in some God. That's all this thing needs. Well, a little bit of God.
Listen, I'm sure the Israeli war will provide that for us.
I'm sure.
The way that's going to escalate. You just shut off power to Gaza. Is that really the smartest thing you want to do?
You know what? Give us back the hostages. You can have your electricity back.
No, true. But watch this turn into like a religious war real quick.
It is a religious war. It's a land war. It's a religious war.
But it's going to truly turn to that. I mean, we already got Syria going with it. Target all the minority sects.
Yeah.
The Christians. Like that always works out well.
So that's Syria. Okay. We're going to do a short, fun story before we get the other story, which is the trans vegan death cult.
Okay, so
you've not heard of the trans vegan death cult? I can't wait till we get to this.
Is this the one where like the people are murdering like across America, like a murder spree?
Yeah.
I didn't know it had to do with veganism.
Transgender veganism.
I'm sorry. What do those two things have to do with each other?
Well, nothing, but we're going to find out in a minute. Anyways.
What, did I shoving carrots up their ass?
Yeah, I don't know. But first, let's get to this jackass. This jackass, who's an immigrant, Palestinian immigrant, who came to this country on a visa because, well, we have really good schools. He's a master's candidate or a doctoral candidate. Got arrested by ICE. And good for him, dickhead, because he came to our country and decided to start. He's the leader of all the protests, or one of the leaders of all the protests at Columbia that have been seizing buildings, blocking people from going to classes, threatening other students, threatening people, threatening Jewish kids. You know what? What is your name? Mahmoud Khalid. Fuck you.
Listen, I understand.
I can't wait. Arrested.
Let me stop. Before you continue, let me say this. I understand he's Palestinian, right? And he's upset with what's going on there. But at the same time, you have to look at the details and how this specific conflict. I'm not talking about all conflicts. Mm-hmm. Yes, Israel had. I get the justification of Israel. What is it? Not colonization, but what do you call it when they build the homes in the contested areas of the past? What's supposed to be
developments?
Developments,
land development,
which they're not supposed to be doing.
Settlements,
right? The settlements, right? The settlement issue. Even the U.S. has told Israel to stop that, right? I get the frustration there. You cannot support a terrorist organization going into a sovereign state and kidnapping its people, women,
or killing
children,
babies,
killing people,
slaughtering babies.
Yeah, you can't. Sorry, you can't support that. You can support the PLO. That's different. But you're supporting a terrorist organization, which is not the PLO. Which doesn't even represent Palestine. No. It's its own. It's got its own creed and everything. They tried to rebrand, but listen, it's tough to rebrand when you're a terrorist organization.
So the student Mahmoud Khalid, as I will call him dickhead from now on, at the University School of International and Public Affairs, was arrested by U.S. Department of Homeland Security agents. That must have been a fun knock on the door at his university residence on Saturday. The Student Workers of Columbia Union said in a statement, his wife is an American citizen and 8 months pregnant. Well, good luck raising your child in Gaza, because that's where you're going back to. According to news reports, that he holds a U.S. permanent residency green card, the union said. Not anymore, buddy, because guess what? Donald Trump's taken that away from you. It appears to be one of the first efforts by U.S. President Donald Trump, a Republican who returned to the White House in January, thanks for filling in that gap of information, Reuters, to fulfill his promise to seek the deportation of some foreign students involved in the pro-Palestinian protest movement, which he called anti-Semitic. It is anti-Semitic. When you block Jewish kids from going on campus to a place that they paid to go to school, and then you're chanting death to Israel, that's anti-Semitic.
I know.
That's anti-Semitic.
I know. I understand they try to differentiate it from Judaism
And I'm
Zionism.
an Arab. I'm an Arab
Listen,
telling you this, dickhead.
I understand they try to differentiate Zionism and Judaism, but the thing is, you can't make that differentiation, right?
Yeah.
While at the same time supporting a terrorist organization that actively targets Jewish and Christian citizens or people, I should say. It's just, or even certain Islamic sects. Listen, you just can't. There's no justification.
Here's what I love, right? You got the green card, you got the dream, you got the American dream. You're going to Columbia University,
You got
probably
an
for
American
free.
wife?
Probably for free.
Got a
You know,
wife?
right?
Got a
Khalil,
kid, I mean?
dickhead, grew up in a Palestinian refugee camp in his native Syria and has worked for the British Embassy in Beirut, according to an online biography. He was being held on Sunday at a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Detention Center in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Love New Jersey. According to the ICE Online detainee locator. His lawyer, Amy Greer, did not respond to requests for comment. Khalil's wife declined to comment through one of Khalil's fellow students. So, yeah, I wish him well. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. You're not gonna come here and turn this place into a hotbed of Hamas-loving, terrorist-loving, terrorist-bearing friggin' schools or hijads or whatever you want to call those schools that they raised terrorist kids in over in the Middle East. So, not gonna do it. So, bye-bye.
Listen, I'm of the opinion of this. Listen, you want to support Palestine? That's fine. Don't support Hamas.
No, you want to say you support the human rights of Palestinian people, which I do.
Yeah,
but I don't support Hamas.
Yes,
I don't
because
support
Hamas
Hezbollah. I don't support Al Qaeda or ISIS.
Just because they support the idea of a Palestinian state does not mean they're automatically good and what they do is fine. No, it does not excuse actions.
No. And I'm not a big fan of a lot of the things the Israelis do, by the way.
Exactly.
So, but it doesn't mean I want to go and hurt any of them.
Exactly. There is a way we can better address this, I hope. I know we've been saying that for decades now, but somebody always screws up something.
It's religious hatred. It's never going to go away. You're never going to fix this. One of them's got to go. And whoever is standing, fine. If you want to have it out. But don't have it out here because the fight ain't here. All right, so Rubio said, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, we will be revoking the visas and or green cards of Hamas supporters in America so they can be deported. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yeah, you had the dream, buddy. You had the dream. He's speaking to the media. Look, he's a celebrity.
Do you think he'll be able to fight this in court?
He's going to try.
He's going to try, but how long do you think that's going to take?
It's not. No, it's going to take a month, and then it'll be bye-bye.
It'll be expedited? Do you think it'll be expedited?
Yeah, I mean, your green card can be taken away right away.
And I don't think there's really much legal protection when it comes to the president signed an executive order, your green card's gone.
Yeah,
there's nothing. It's like he's the president. He sets foreign affairs, or he deals with foreign affairs for the most part.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are foreign, so he falls under his jurisdiction. He's gonna enforce that. So yeah, you really threw away everything, huh?
Yeah. Oh, look, one of his friends said, I'm horrified that my dear friend Mohammed, who is a legal resident, and I'm horrified. I don't care if he's a legal resident. He just gave up that right. He signs papers. The same papers my wife had to sign about,
allegiance to the United States.
It literally says there's one thing there. Have you ever supported
a terrorist
organization? You have to say no to be able to get your green card or your residency.
It's an automatic fail question.
It's an automatic fail question. But guess what, Mohammed, dickhead? Obviously, you lied. And you got caught, and you violated one of the.
Listen, I would understand the argument if you're trying to support Palestine. The issue is this: you're supporting Hamas in the side of a war.
Yep.
Your whole protests are based around the war, and you're supporting one side of it.
Yep.
It's not. You see what I mean? It's like you're not going to be able to split the two like you would normally. If you had made that very clear from the beginning and really, really had papers that showed that, then great. Problem is, you probably didn't do that because you were too overzealous.
Yeah.
So,
well, now Colombia had to do this by allowing ICE on campus. Colombia is surrendering to the Trump administration's assault on universities across the country and sacrificing international students to protect its finances. Well, it had to. All right, the school said ICE agents without a judicial arrest warrant may be allowed to enter its private property in exigent circumstances, which it did not specify. Basically, Colombia was like, no, we're not letting ICE in. ICE is not allowed in. Then guess what?
$400 million was cut.
Trump cut $400 million of federal funding to Colombia, which shouldn't need it because these Ivy League schools have billions of dollars in their funding, in their own private funding,
and their donations from their alumni.
Yeah, it's crazy
that
we're even subsidizing.
You know why though?
This crap.
You know why $400 million is still a lot to them? One, because it's a lot of money, but two, where's that money going? Some pockets.
Oh yeah,
some people do not want to take some pay cuts.
Kickbacks. So
there's some kickbacks in there. There are some, and I bet some of that other money is being spent on other things that maybe the university doesn't need to just really spend on.
Yeah.
And now that they're looking at the checkbook like we're short $400 million this month. Can't really cut sports because that looks really bad in our funding. Please give us the money back.
Well, good for this. I wholeheartedly agree with. Wholeheartedly agree with all of this. So you know why? You know what? Columbia should have to give a full refund to the students who couldn't go to their class.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I was a Colombian Ivy League school,
I would be suing them right now.
I want to go to class.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I was in university, I wanted to go to class. Now, of course, sometimes I didn't want to go to class. Obviously, every person doesn't want to do that occasionally.
But that would be my choice, not somebody else's.
That's my choice, exactly. If my choice, if I want to use a day off or was a skip day, you can have or those excused absences.
Yeah,
that's my choice. If it's being forced on me that I can't go and learn and study for what I want to become later in life, that's something being taken away from me, and I'm paying good money just as much as anybody else.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's that story. Here's our last story of the day, and I saved this for you because I really thought you would enjoy this one. Trans vegan cult member linked to Vermont border agent killing was person of interest in his own parents' murder.
I think he killed his parents.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Listen, I'm just saying, if you're a person of interest in 2 murder cases.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the odds are
Pennsylvania State Police.
Statistically, you did it.
Here are the parents. According to the Pennsylvania State Police, the couple were found with a firearm inside their home. The firearm has been linked to a person of interest in the January 2025 shooting of a U.S. Border Patrol agent, David Christopher Milan, who died 20 miles from the Canadian border. It was basically 2 of these transgender cult members fired on him. Now, here's where this is where Michelle Zacco, the daughter of Richard Reed, was linked to the firearms found in Teresa Youngblood and Felix Sophia Backholt's vehicle.
That's where they live?
These are all rich. These are rich white kids. These are all rich, spoiled white kids that are just smelling their own farts. Here we go. See, there's one of them. An investigation.
Is that a guy?
It's a tranny. It's a vegan.
Woman. I couldn't tell. It's got like the face of a woman.
Look, he looks so tough.
No.
Wait to see how tough.
It's like a face of a woman who's trying to look like a guy.
No, it could be.
But
you know what? It'll come in handy because let me tell you something. Prison, they're gonna love you. You're gonna love you. You're gonna love you. You're gonna be able to be whatever you want to be in prison, buddy. All right. An investigation into the border agent shooting revealed that the weapon used in the killing of the Customs and Border Patrol agent was purchased by a person of interest in the murders of Reader and Richard Zajko. According to Pennsylvania State Police, this is the poor bastard Border Patrol agent who just pulled somebody over for reasonable cause, gets up to the window, and gets blasted. He fires back, was able to kill one of the other people in the car, but he died. I mean, this guy just doing his job, friggin' hero, during a routine traffic stop in Coventry, Vermont, about 20 miles south of the Canadian border. Youngblood and Backholt were in the stopped car, opening fire on the border agents, authorities said. Oh, here's the leader. This guy. They're Zizians. This is the Zizian. That's the name of their cult. The Zizians. Yeah, he looks real tough. Look at him. Look at him. He looks so tough in the camera. You know what Bruno and you know what Dexter are gonna do to this guy in prison? They're gonna love him.
This guy needs help.
All right,
so much help. But you threw that chance away because now you decided to start a death cult. I can't believe.
Milan's killing put a spotlight on the Zizians, a group that reportedly includes Youngblood, Backholt, and Zajko, and has been connected to at least 6 homicides. The group's goal is unclear. No shit, really? The transgenders are unclear about what's going on? But online writings for members.
When can they ever make a decision?
They can't-
Why are we killing people? I don't know. Why am I this way? I don't know.
But online writings for members span topics from radical veganism to transgenderism to artificial intelligence. Well, there's one thing for sure. There's no intelligence in that face, okay? So Jack Lasota, 34, reportedly the group's leader, and Zajko were recently taken into custody in Maryland. They face multiple charges, including trespassing, obstructing, and hindering, and possession of a handgun in the vehicle. Attorney Daniel McGarrigle, who's representing Lasota, he's going to be doing this for free and just for publicity because he's this referred to his research. The release highlighted that Lasota is presumed innocent unless and until the government meets its burden of proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. I can't wait for this trial. Please put this trial on TV. I want this trial on TV. I want to see this guy take the stand. Please let him testify.
This guy, is it a guy? I don't know anymore. It looks like a guy.
I think, well, hey,
If that
looking so tough.
No, listen, I'm going to be honest with you, right? I'm going to be honest with you now.
Dude, he's listening to too much NWA and believe his own hype, He's like, yeah, I'm just as tough.
Listen, I'm going to be honest and say this.
Yeah.
If you do what you want when you become an adult, right? But if you're going to do something, you better make sure you look like what you're trying to look like.
Yeah.
That just looks like a guy to me. And if you're telling me they're trying to be a woman, he needs to go back to his doctor because he needs to get a refund. He needs a refund.
Let's see here.
Right? I mean, what is there?
What is
what is it? What is it?
I wish I had. I wish I knew.
Right?
I wish I had an answer, but
he looks like a guy trying to be a woman, maybe because they say transgender. So I'm assuming
he's a 34-year-old blogger from Berkeley. He's a blogger. He blogs. Who uses female pronouns, believes each hemisphere of the brain can hold different values and identify as different genders. So basically, half your brain identifies as a woman, half your brain identifies as a man. Okay, good.
Man, I mean, the two back lobes are just like random. Like throwing the dice, playing dice essentially.
Let's see.
Oh,
wait, this is a good.
So this guy, so I was right. It is a guy.
It's a guy. The Zizians advocate for veganism, and some, if not all, members identify as transgender. They also follow the rationalist movement, which seeks to understand human cognition. Good luck with that.
I'm sorry. So you seek to understand human cognition. So you kill 6 people because of what reason?
But here's what the group comprises: computer scientists, most of them in their 20s and 30s, who met online. No shit, I could have written this. I could have written this with no research.
Don't tell me, please. Don't tell me they're Discord moderators. Don't tell me they're Discord moderators.
They've got to be, right?
If they're Discord moderators,
they probably are.
This will kill any credibility any moderator ever had on Discord.
It doesn't get into God. Oh my God! Jesus! Yeah, but they go around killing people. Yeah, because they're tough people. Tough people
all over the country. Where are the locations?
California, Vermont. There's a couple.
So this is federal now.
Oh, this is a federal.
This is a federal case. This is
no
longer local hands.
This is FBI stuff now.
Oh God! All right, you got the FBI.
The Zizians were living in vans and box trucks.
This sounds like a poorly written movie. This is like a shitty B-list.
This is
a B-list shitty horror movie.
No. You know what this is? This is Dollar Store Manson Family. That's what this is.
Dollar
Store Manson Family.
When you're
gonna try to be Charlie, if you're gonna try to be Charlie, you gotta be better than that.
Yeah, listen, when you go to the store and you're like, can we get Charlie Manson? And your mom says, we get Charlie Manson at home. Charlie Manson at home. Transgender vegan cold. I'm sorry. Where does the vegan come into this? Why does vegan
I want a McDonald's cheeseburger. And my mother says, nah, make one just like it at home. It never comes out right.
I have a question. Why was vegans are getting like the shitty end of the deal here?
Yeah.
They got just thrown in here.
Yeah. I didn't know you vegans were so
violent.
so just violent. I thought it was the meat eaters that were supposed to be so violent.
No, Gringo, this is great. This gets worse every minute I read.
I mean, I'm sorry for the people that died, but please put this trial on TV.
Where would it be, though? Would it be in
here's our friend again. I don't know what the hell that is. All right. Yeah, held without bail is a flight risk and a danger to the public, the judge said. Really?
No,
you think?
You think?
No, you think?
You
You don't want to let him back out on the street?
Judge, you got one hell of a mind.
Oh, wait. Oh, wow. Who are the Zizians? Okay, here we got all this stuff. Oh, this is great. Jack Ziz Lasota is a 34-year-old blogger from Berkeley, California who uses female pronouns and identifies as transgender.
No, that's sorry. Listen,
no.
Listen,
Name
listen. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Listen. I go by the fact of this in life. I look at people and I'm gonna mess up.
Your name is Jack.
Your name's Jack, but Jack can be a woman's name sometimes, like as a nickname.
Really? Jacqueline?
Jack, yeah, Jacqueline, Jack.
He's the leader.
But here's my thing. If you're gonna switch sides, listen. I'm sorry. No. Before we go there, if you're gonna switch sides, you gotta at least. I gotta be able to see the other side here. You know what I mean? This. You need to go see whoever.
It really is my birthday. This is great.
Whoever did this, you need to get a refund from first before you go to trial because you still look like yourself with just long hair. Yeah. I'm sorry.
You he just took the money. He put the guy to sleep, and he woke up. He goes, "I did the surgery. You look great. No, it's good."
He just added hair extensions. That's
right,
just a dude with a wig.
Wait. All right, Maximilian Snyder. Oh man. With a name like that, you might as well be a villain, I guess. Maximilian, all right.
Yeah.
Applied for a marriage license. Maybe that's what I should have named you, Maximilian.
Not a bad name, actually.
Applied for a marriage license with Teresa Youngblood in Washington State. Faces murder charge in connection with landlord Curtis Lynn's death in January 2025. Prosecutors believe Snyder was trying to keep Lynn from testifying against his November 2022 attackers. Okay.
So he's attacked people.
There's years? Teresa with her mask on because, COVID. Idiot.
Or just trying to hide identity.
All right, so she actually is one of the people that was actually shooting at the officer. So good luck with the death penalty.
Yeah,
because guess what?
Executive order rolled in. Was it an executive order?
Yeah, I think
that Trump did.
Yeah,
so, and he's not going to take too kindly about a border control agent getting shot because he wants more of those. You are screwed. You are going to be made into an example.
It looks a little like your brother.
That's just an insult. That's a violation. Dad,
you're when he had the long hair.
Listen. You're watching this, Mom, I'm pretty sure. Your husband, my father, just said, that looks like Thomas.
A little bit when he's angry.
That is horrible.
Don't use his first name. He's listening. You might...
Maybe. I guess it.
All right, this person, Emma Borhanian.
You just... Wait. So it's a woman trying to be a man?
It's a man being a woman. Was arrested alongside other group members, including Lesotho, in November 2019, during what they called a protest against sexual misconduct within rationalist organizations. They don't even know what they're protesting. They're just putting a bunch of buzzwords together. Borhanian and others also attacked Curtis Lynn in November, impaling him with a sword and partially blinded in the attack. Lynn shot back and killed Borhanian. Oh, so this person's dead.
Oh, they're dead.
All right, well, rest in peace, Emma. Gwen.
I'm sorry. That is not a Gwen. All right. That is a
Guantanamo.
That is a John. Have I ever seen one? I'm sorry. He probably has a longer John than you. All right?
He's concerned about.
Look at that face.
You know what he's concerned? Look, he's concerned about artificial intelligence. He should be because he's one of the first to be replaced. There's no intelligence behind those eyes.
What is with people? Okay, if you're gonna do these surgeries, I'm sorry, you gotta look.
I don't think they did this. I think they just think that they are. I don't think they've done all the surgeries.
Oh well, then you're not shit until you do anything. I'm sorry.
Call yourself whatever. Officials charge Leatham with murder following Curtis's attack after they found Lynn acted in self-defense when he fired at them. Okay, so this guy was arrested. He let me tilt my head down so I got a cooler mugshot. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Michael Zajko. Trespassing, obstructing, hindering, possession of a handgun. Is also a person of interest in their parents' double homicide and has been on the run with Lesotho. Oh, so this is the asshole that killed their parents. Well, good luck to wherever you're going.
So I was right. It's a woman trying to be a man.
I think so.
Right? Because they said daughter in the other article.
Yeah.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, but
I think so.
You know what?
know,
His surgery actually worked out.
I know his surgery.
His surgery or his pills, whatever he did,
Whatever they're doing.
he actually did a good job for this one.
You know, A for effort.
There's
only one true believer in this group.
3, 4.
Well, maybe the dead guy.
5, 6.
Maximilian's just there for the pot. I'm telling you.
Okay, yeah.
Maximilian's just there for the pot.
That guy, this person,
Yeah.
I'll give credit to as well, but they're dead, so they
That
don't.
was effort, you know.
Listen, I said this. Listen, that's not a good one.
No,
That guy has a longer schlong
yeah.
than me and you.
Wow.
All right,
well,
let's be honest. Let's be honest.
All
Let's be honest.
All right.
Let's go back. Sorry, look at Gwen. That's not a fucking Gwen. If I saw that at a club or at a
5
party,
o'clock shadow
or
already.
if I saw that at a function, I'm running.
Well, this guy looks like he should be a roadie for some band somewhere. So, like, you know, just maybe wrong crew. But you know what? A for effort.
A for effort. You actually,
you know. So as a leader goes, hey, Mr. Jack Lasota is a leader. You only got one guy who's really a person who's really trying to give you the whole effort thing.
Is there any more below?
No, it's just the timeline of events.
Okay.
Basically,
it goes back to 2016.
Oh yeah.
Starting it. Okay.
Yeah. Complex is sometimes rambling theories about technology, gender identity, and human cognition. Whatever. So yeah, these people have been around for a while.
When did they start doing killings? What, 2012,
2019?
2019?
Yeah. Took them a few years to get,
Took them 3 years to really go in for this.
Really get their feet under them and really find their footing and their foundation and really kind of figure out what they wanted to do.
It's crazy. This is crazy.
Jesus Christ.
They don't even know where they're killing these people for.
No, they don't. Did
they eat a cheeseburger?
Well, no, because they were living in vans and box trucks on people's property, and they didn't have money to pay the rent. So the people were like, hey, you can't pay rent, you got to go. So they killed them. And now they're just killing people randomly. They were caught now.
All right, Jesus. Okay, that is one way to put things. Damn.
Anyways, I thought you really would enjoy this story.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Jack as a leader seems like a shitty leader.
Jack's a shitty leader.
Jack doesn't buy into this.
Yeah.
Jack hasn't bought into this. Jack just grew out their hair.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He grew out his hair.
Yeah.
They didn't buy into this.
I'm telling you, discount dollar store Charles Manson. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Well,
there you go. I figured it would, before
you found a really weird way to end this.
Before it becomes my birthday, I figured, I'd hit you with the transgender veganist death cult story.
You've got me back on a spiel of how can you look in the mirror and take yourself seriously when you say I'm a woman and you look like Gwen?
It's about one half of your brain can be whatever you want it to be.
Listen, again, like I said, you do whatever you want after you're 18. Again, but don't expect people to always respect you.
People are going to hate us for this one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I'm going to say this. Listen, do whatever you want when you're an adult, all right? But hear me out. You can't force people, especially who have certain religious beliefs.
Who should be pissed off?
No, let me continue. You can't force people who have certain religious beliefs or just beliefs in general to have to accept yours. Because now you're just trying to force... You're going against certain amendments here. You're going against the first.
Well, what I'm saying, though, is this. Look, listen. The people who should really be upset are the real trannies out there. Right? The ones who aren't killing people.
Yeah.
Who are having cheeseburgers.
Or vegans.
Or even vegans. Real
they
vegans.
got thrown into this.
The vegans and the trannies just kind of get sucked into this madness. And I'm like, kind of feel bad for y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some of you are nice people for the most part.
When I think...
I don't understand why you do your things, but I'm sure you're nice.
Yeah, when I think serial death cult, I don't think transgender.
Yeah, but now I gotta
now I do
check. Now I gotta
check that box.
I gotta take a double look at people now. Yeah,
welcome to the club, trannies. You too can be in serial death cults, just like us straight white people.
Yep.
Progress. Anyways,
yeah, Mexicans only kill people when it comes to wars.
That ain't true.
And I'm talking about other things, but I'm not gonna mention it.
I'm not gonna mention that. Anyway,
certain trades, certain
what a day.
Bad aspects of society.
It's been a good show. I'm glad we did this. Oh,
I don't know if I really needed that last story, to be honest.
I needed it.
You needed me to know about it, or did you need it?
I really wanted to hit you with it and see what you thought.
I figured.
God bless America. But with that,
listen, I'm like, yeah.
With that, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna have snack. It's late, but we're gonna go have snack. It's almost my birthday.
Do you think we'll stream tomorrow?
Birthday. Oh, we're streaming on my 50th. Hell yeah. We're going to have some.
It's going to be funny because it's going to say 49th episode, 50th birthday.
Yeah, we're going to say we're going to have some Japanese Oreos. We get some Japanese stuff we're going to be trying. And we're going to bring up some Mexican candy.
That's fun.
Some
Hey,
stuff
maybe another war starts by tomorrow. Listen, I'm not.
What added? What are we gonna? You know what? We want to start the war map and just like every.
Can we
stream,
do that? Can we do that?
We're gonna start the stream like here's our war map. Here's where wars are currently happening. Just color in red. See how much of the red we can get.
Should we have like arrows pointing to like different countries?
No, we should just literally just color in the whole country red.
No. But I mean, like to show who they're at war with. We're a colored arrow between the two.
Well, I think if the two countries that are red are right next to each other, I think it's a pretty
sure. But what if we get to like a region where it's like there's a war here, there's a war here, there's a war here, and there's like 4 countries next to each other. You know what I mean? They're not all at war with each other.
You always got to complicate things. Why can't we just
I
just want to color things in, man.
We can color things in and throw an extra color.
All I want to do is color. I'm an old man. I'm turning back into a kid. I just want to color and paint.
The bench is creeping up. Creeping in. Up?
Really,
creeping up. Wow.
Creeping in. It really is.
Pretty one day. Jesus.
It really is. So, all right, everybody. With that, we're going to sign off. Say goodbye. Adios. Buenas noches.
Adios.
From south of the border. Salud. A huevo. Thanks, everybody.